At the end of Zero Day Season 1, the central narrative arc, the investigation into the catastrophic cyberattack, reached its resolution. Former President George Mullen exposed the conspirators and brought dark truths into the light, confronting betrayal and political ambition. While this brought closure to the core plot, it also opened new questions about the stability of American democracy, the fate of the characters, and broader systemic vulnerabilities. Though creators originally conceived the series as a limited run with a complete arc, the world Zero Day built is rich with socio-political complexity that could plausibly extend into a second season. This unresolved potential, the impact of the attack on global geopolitics, national security policy reform, and interpersonal consequences for characters like Mullen and his daughter Alexandra, lays fertile ground for continuing the story in thought-provoking ways. One major prediction for Season 2 centers on the political fallout from the exposed conspiracy. The second season could explore how the U.S. government attempts to reform its cyber defense infrastructure, prosecute those responsible, and rebuild public trust. This might involve congressional hearings, complex trials for treason, or intense media scrutiny that tests the moral character of political leaders. Exploring these legal and ethical battles would mirror real-world concerns about transparency and accountability in government. The narrative could also introduce new adversaries, either political rivals seeking to manipulate the crises for personal gain or foreign actors taking advantage of a weakened system. By focusing on the turbulent aftermath instead of just the cyberattack itself, a second season could expand the show's thematic range while keeping its high-stakes tension intact. Character development provides another intriguing avenue. In Season 2, George Mullen might transition from a retired figurehead into a reluctant national symbol of resilience, especially if public opinion remains sharply divided. His daughter, Alexandra, whose political role was pivotal in Season 1, could emerge as a central figure navigating her own ambitions while reconciling family legacy with political reality. The psychological toll of the conspiracy, combined with the weight of public expectation, would give rich emotional texture to the series. Other characters like Evan Green or Valerie Whitesell could gain expanded roles, exploring personal stories that connect directly to national security, cyber policy, or grassroots activism. This character-driven focus would deepen viewers' emotional investment while tying personal stakes to the show's broader political drama. Our culture. A compelling prediction is the arrival of a new cyber threat, escalating the danger level beyond the initial zero-day attack. Real-world cyber warfare is dynamic. New vulnerabilities arise constantly, and as governments shore up defenses, adversarios innobat. Season 2 might introduce an even more sophisticated network breach, possibly involving AI-driven malware or coordinated attacks on critical infrastructure like power grids, financial systems, or emergency services. This progression mirrors real global anxieties about cyber risks and would keep the series grounded in plausible scenarios, while providing fresh challenges for the characters. Exploring how policymakers, hackers, and everyday citizens respond to another crisis could expand the narrative's relevance and urgency. Another prediction for a new season is widening the scope beyond U.S. borders. Season 1's cyberattack was primarily domestic, but its implications reverberate internationally. Season 2 could introduce global players, perhaps allied nations, rival superpowers, or multinational corporations, each with their own agendas. This could lead to tense diplomatic negotiations, covert operations, or dangerous entanglements that test international alliances and ethical boundaries. Examining cyber warfare as a global phenomenon would enrich the political complexity and allow the story to grapple with questions of sovereignty, surveillance, and international law. Such a shift would elevate Zero Day from a national political thriller into a geopolitical thriller with global stakes. Season 1 lightly touched on Proteus, a potential neurological weapon, as a subplot that raised questions about manipulation and cognition. A second season could expand on this mystery, exploring whether Proteus was truly deployed, who developed it, and to what end. This subplot could spin off into a deeper conspiracy arc, involving intelligence agencies, rogue scientists, or shadow networks that blur the lines between technology and psychology. Such an exploration would inject elements of ethical thriller and speculative fiction into the series, raising questions about free will, truth, and the unseen forces shaping political decision-making. This expansion could captivate audiences who enjoy conspiracy-driven narratives, blended with political intrigue. A salient theme to carry into Season 2 would be how media and public perception shape outcomes. In Season 1, disinformation played a huge role. A second season could pivot to the consequences of that disinformation ecosystem on public trust. Social media campaigns, propaganda, whistleblowers, and fake news could become central plot devices, illustrating the fragile line between truth and belief in a post-attack society. Characters might find themselves battling not just adversaries, but narratives, fighting to tell the truth in a world increasingly driven by perception. This angle would resonate deeply with contemporary issues around media literacy, polarization, and the power of narrative in shaping democracy. Season 2 could also explore themes of redemption and reconciliation. Following Mullen's heroic act in exposing the conspiracy, he might face scrutiny over decisions he made under pressure, especially regarding his own mental state and judgment. This could ignite debates over age, leadership, capacity, and legacy. Redemption arcs for secondary characters, those who made questionable choices during the crisis, would add layers of complexity. In doing so, the series could emphasize human fallibility alongside political responsibility, offering nuanced character portrayals that challenged viewers to reflect on forgiveness, accountability, and leadership in times of crisis. Another compelling prediction centers on the evolving role of technology itself. Zero Day could turn technology into almost a character, exploring how advancements in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, or next-generation cyber defenses create both opportunities and existential risks. Instead of simply using tech as a plot tool, Season 2 might ask big questions. Should AI determine national risk thresholds? What if autonomous systems make life and death decisions? This direction would propel the narrative into philosophical territory, challenging viewers to consider the ethical ramifications of technological dependency and national security. By blending political drama with techno-ethical dilemmas, the series could push its thematic envelope further. Finally, the most speculative prediction is whether Zero Day will even get a Season 2. Officially, Netflix has not renewed the series, and it was originally designed as a limited run with a self-contained story arc, suggesting renewal is unlikely. However, creators and casts have expressed openness to continuing the narrative, and fan demand remains strong, with viewers calling for more seasons. Should Netflix decide to greenlight a second season, it would likely depend on audience engagement metrics and international reception. If renewal happens, a 2026 to 2027 release window seems plausible.